Hi, today I come to share my mind and give a piece of advice. This is an advice that just came to my mind a dozen of minutes ago, and it is just freshly baked because it comes from my personal life situation when I'm at home with my husband and uh, it is weekend today. And for the last weeks, I've been anticipating for this weekend that my husband can be less occupied with his work and can have time also to rest and also complete some of the tasks that are have accumulated to be done at home. Um, well, I waited for that, but since the morning I see him being busy doing some other things which also need to be done, but not those that I expected. Well, and then actually, taking my own experience and seeing him doing things, I came up with some understanding that I thought might be useful also for others. And this is an idea about how to be more effective about things to do. Uh, well, um, let's take really this personal example that is happening here. I see my husband doing some paperwork, administrative work, because there are lots of letters arriving by post, some notifications, some authorizations. They need to be read through. They need to be something needs to be filed, scanned, and things like that. And this is something that he does pretty regularly for many years. Since I live here in Switzerland, I see many things are done by post. And yeah, everybody is good at doing this because this is very regular. And I just understood that things like that we should give a second priority. And those things which are less regular and which are maybe unfamiliar to us how to do or something more complicated, we should do first. Uh, in our personal example, there is, for example, a bulb which needs to be changed in the oven. Well, it's not just a regular bulb in the room lamp, it's in the oven, and there is some protection which my husband doesn't really know how to remove in order to change the bulb. And once he looked at it, he postponed it till later because that time when he did it first time he didn't know, so he just postponed it. And as I work in the kitchen, I need that light. So as I see things that we should give priority to those things which are less familiar to us because they consume more of our energy. They take our physical work, mental work, and psychological work. Physical, you understand, because physically you need to be present there. You need to do something with your hands. Mental work, because you need to think, to understand, to search for information, maybe. And why psychological? Because anyway, there is this kind of pressure that you push yourself to do it because this is not something that you would choose to do on your weekend. Well, and then it's good to do this when you are fresh in the morning and when there is still whole day in front of you and you're not pressed by something else that, oh, the day is finishing, I have to finish up and still I don't know how to do it, and it becomes like really stressful. Well, then what about the second type of work, the work which is more habitual? I should say that you understand by yourself already, since it is habitual, it is easier to do it. So you will be able to function there with less resources, even if you are tired because of having done something else already. You can still do this because habit rules. In my previous videos, I frequently blamed mind for making us function by habit. But we can also, if we are conscious and we know the habit of the mind, we can control it. We can either use it or we can replace it, or we can do it differently in a different way, and so on. Important is to be conscious. So here we can use this habit because habit, when we act by habit, we don't really need to think much, we don't really need to use lots of energy. And then the second thing about things that we do regularly is that even if we seem like not having enough time, you know, life happens in a way that when something is important to us, this or another way, we find the time. So, I mean, even if it gets late and you're going to sleep already, anyway, it will stay for you as kind of discomfort that you haven't done something that regularly is done, that habitually is not pending, and you will go and you will finish it. And maybe you will finish it even quicker, as if you were doing rather than you were doing it earlier in the morning, because you felt like the whole day is in front of me, I can just be doing this, I can be doing something important, I'm busy, and then everything else would be postponed, because those things mind really doesn't want to do. Mind likes to do what is in the habit. So in that way, also it requires less of energy, and also it will find the opportunity to be done. So there won't be any psychological pressure, and there won't be any extra tiredness, or again, the list of things to do will not remain incompleted, because habitual things, they will be done habitually, not so much by you as by your habit. So this was my little understanding of how things can be done more effectively. Probably you already know this, you do the same. Probably you make your priorities in a different way. It can be interesting to know too. So feel free to leave comments if there is something interesting that you can also recommend. Or feel free to use my advice, because I don't keep any copyrights. I just share my mind for everyone for whom it can be useful. And with that, I leave you. Bye.